bullets on Lake Road. I want to make a few comments up front because there's a lot of material here. The manner in which our community has approached the wake enhancement issue makes this a complex and deeply divisive matter, and rightly so. The decision before us is not simple. It balances competing values, individual rights versus protection of our lakes. Whichever path we choose, whether a ban, new restrictions, or no action, there is potential for legal and enforcement challenges all the way through. The only true path forward, in my opinion, is a collaborative one to work together and create a common sense, science-based restriction that benefits all stakeholders. However, when one side demands a total ban and the other offers compromise, a simple board vote may not resolve this conflict. In my ongoing effort to better inform myself, the board, and the public in those hundreds of hours in the last 2 months, I'm presenting tonight a summary of a 26-page DNR document. I have a 3-page overview that I put in the 2 pages in the packet. There's another 3rd page on it on the website. I think Jen was putting it up today. There are live links to the 26-page DNR document. It discusses permissible restrictions, speed, activity, time of day, public trust doctrine, and riparian rights, posting and enforcement requirements, waterway marking, permitting 8 pages of sample ordinances, 6 pages on waterway signage and compliance, and the 3rd page is a tentative timeline derived from the requirements of open law and DNR review. And that timeline is reasonably lengthy when you talk about 30-day advance notice for meetings and hearings, and then you have to have so many days before you go to the DNR. It's just, I would recommend taking a look at what I put together. I'm not saying it's right, I just said here's a possible minimum, here's a possible maximum, based upon the outline I laid out. You'll also see the proposal to create a Lake and Shoreline Advisory Committee is back on tonight's agenda, tabled from last meeting. I've chosen to keep this discussion active at the board level, recognizing how deeply this issue matters to many. Lake Beulah has several areas with depths well over 30 feet up to 58 feet, where, according to existing data, properly operated wake boats should not harm the lake bottom. Meanwhile, existing slow no wake rules within 200 feet of shorelines and sensitive areas should reduce erosion and protection habitats. I've also consulted with the DNR, Walworth County Sheriff, and our own police department multiple times. Their feedback is unanimous. Enforcement is virtually impossible without clear, specific, and measurable rules. Vague or subjective ordinances invite further confusion and legal exposure because you might be issuing tickets that people fight at the court, and they say, well, I was just starting up the boat, and I'm a new boater. There's going to be legal exposure everywhere throughout this. Frankly, in today's polarized environment, I'm not confident a committee would produce anything different than what we already have today. Personally, I've yet to see clear, conclusive, clear, conducive, and unbiased data proving that properly operated wake boats alone cause significant lake damage, alone, all by themselves. I'm more inclined, personally, seeing the sheer number of boats on the lakes today, the sizes of boats, the sizes of motors in every boat class are probably as much or more of a problem in this grand problem that we're trying to work through here. That said, we cannot continue using valuable board meeting time indefinitely on a topic that needs deeper public engagement. Therefore, I propose we consider the following two options tonight. We can table the discussion and schedule a formal public hearing once more information becomes available. I'm told the report's done on the 16th. What I have been most concerned about is we get hit and miss wake boat comments at different board meetings, and we get emails in. I got one today. Are they all gonna make it to that big, broad public hearing where everybody's looking at it? There's a lot of people looking at this, so I think a public hearing would be really appropriate where, I think I go through it. Until then, we respectfully request the public comments on this topic be reserved for that hearing.
That's the emergency services,
Not at regular board meetings, and I already talked about the 6/16 meeting. The other thing is, I've gathered a lot of data. It was recommended to me that the board would authorize me to summarize notes to both lake districts, requesting 2025 mitigation recommendations, because if the lake is at risk, and we understand which watercraft behaviors are problematic, then why wait? Why shouldn't we try and take some action right now? Some common sense DNR approved measures could be implemented now without a new ordinance, to begin addressing this problem while we continue to have this longer term discussion. And the summary that I put together for a timeline, the one I came up with, on the minimum, if you try and slam everything together real quick, it's like 150 days. By the time you get through DNR review and 30-day notice for a public hearing, and then so many days before the DNR, it's a lengthy process, so please take a look at the list so everybody understands what that is. So, the main reason there was public comments, the reason why the Shoreline and Conservation Advisory Committee to address the wake boat is on the agenda is because it was tabled at the last meeting to June. So it has to be on here, and that's why it's on here. So, and it's on here in its equivalent fashion. It was to authorize, if we did authorize a committee, then I would have to find a moderator, and then I would have to go find appointees. And quite frankly, I got an email. One of the reasons why I don't think this is gonna be good, we can have all 5 of us discover these appointees. And I got an answer in my email that said, well, you can't put your cronies on there, the hand-selected cronies on there to come up with the outcome that you want. So if that's where it's gonna go, I don't know that it's gonna go any better than what we have right now in the community. So I'm not sure a committee is the right way to go. I offered 2 suggestions, and I'd like you guys to talk about it. One is to table it until both of them can happen. Schedule a formal public hearing at some point. I'm assuming 6/16, there's gonna be a report out, so go ahead.
If I could offer, I would love to coordinate Terra Visualis to be at the World Public Hearing if that is appropriate and
So,
Yeah, what?
to
Is
the
it on the agenda to schedule a public hearing?
No, I
Am
can't.
I missing something?
I can't do it here. It says table. Oh, this is my notes. It's not for a public hearing on here.
So we can do whatever's on the agenda for
Correct.
tonight.
So the reason in my notes is that I'd like to accumulate all the comments at the public hearing so everybody can come and hear all the different angles. And so at some future time, I'm hoping, because we have part-time residents that go to Florida, Arizona, everybody, it's been a common complaint that we hold meetings when everybody's gone. So let's hold a meeting in July or something, and we'll bring it back to the July meeting to discuss a scheduling a hearing. We got phones going off. Christ. So the two things, okay. We would table the discussion until a formal public hearing could be, that, it's a tabling the discussion.
Right, that's under 9D, we can do that, we're
Right.
still on C.
Okay,
We addressed one, which is your
so
handout.
let's do, I put it in the wrong order. Authorize me to send a letter to all town of East Troy Lake districts summarizing 2025 mitigation, steps, recommendations that could be taken place right now to try and have an impact on the lake today while we continue this discussion on event. That's under C. And then D will be to table that discussion until we can schedule a public hearing. So, C first. Anybody have any thoughts, comments, motion?
I guess my question would be, if you're sending a letter to the management districts, we had other parties involved in this discussion.
Yep.
Including potentially you are responsible voters. Would that letter with your suggested immediate actions go to all parties who have been represented?
It could, but the authority on the lake is the Lake District. It's the only governing body on each lake that has control of the lake. So the other interested parties, we could post it or something, but, I don't know that we're obligated. They can't take action. The Lake Districts could only take action, right?
But they could go, they could be aware and not participate in the district meetings,
Oh, they could.
right?
I'm okay,
Just to
however,
be aware of it.
I'm okay however you want to approach it, that's fine.
I mean, we're concerned about like a biased decision, but I want to include all parties
And I can include all of you, I can gather information from all of you to make it a board letter too.
Well, I was just going to say, you're authorizing Chairman Jones to reach out. Do you want to also approve the letter that is going to them?
Yeah.
Okay?
I think the board should probably approve whatever you're sending out.
No,
And that would help eliminate the allegations of bias or.
I agree, that's fine. What it will do is it will force us to have a vote on the letter in July, and the letter wouldn't go out until after that July meeting.
Or we have a special meeting already planned for June 16th. Is it possible for you to get the letter done by June 16th so that we could approve it at a special meeting and it maybe accelerate it? I know
I could.
Mr. Bergen is, talking about having his meeting on the 16th. Maybe there would be a way to set a date in the future, you know, once we approve the letter, send it to them, you know, everybody's thinking on that. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, we have done nothing. And my concern is, we talked about increasing education. Is there a way for us to do education starting now versus doing nothing until we get to the end of the summer, because these meetings are going to be late July, mid-July, you know, we're looking at a limited time frame here. Is there a way to perhaps create some education, because there are people who are currently using the waters, and they need to know that there are buoys and depths, and we have people who come from out of town who use the water. We need to start doing something versus doing nothing.
That is 2025 mitigation, that's what's gonna go in this letter. These are things we've learned about what we could do do. So yes, it would be a suggestion to draft that.
Management districts, because they're gonna lose that.
They have technically the authority on the lake, so, I mean, you definitely want them to drive it.
I have some suggestions for the letter to us.
Okay, that's good, so you wanna be on the committee. All right, fair enough.
And to add on to Supervisor Church's, like, is there a way we can get a big sign right at the boat launch with the depth, like 20 feet and greater depths right now? Like, can we get a giant map right there? Just kind of do something, is what I'm saying, is like,
I agree.
what is, yeah, cause we're just kind of, we're kind of almost like kicking the can down the road. So is there things we can do now that maybe we put up a sign or
I thought,
maybe we recommend something, you know, to the management district, like, hey, put a sign of your deeper depths right now. Not, no ordinance or anything, but we need to do something, I feel like. You know,
I thought we were asked to wait for information coming from the study.
Yes.
Correct? And then, we're putting buoys out. I don't know when these buoys are supposed to go out, but that is going to start to cut things off as well, correct?
But there are other mitigation recommendations that could be implemented now that do not require an ordinance. Signage at the boat launch, a map with designated
I
areas.
understand that.
and
That was part of my
handouts
idea to begin
from the
with. They
boat
didn't
launch
want
guy,
that.
like, give them a pamphlet.
That's all what I was put in this letter, and you just have.
Right, and that's why I think that, because that falls on the management district, maybe we just recommend, hey, for the time being, let's get a sign up of deeper depths and hand out pamphlets. I just think that we should be doing something.
We can't do that as a board right now, because it's not on the
It's
agenda.
not.
So,
Well, wouldn't that be in the letter, mitigating?
All of this would be in the letter, that's what.
Okay.
That's why it's frustrating that it's gonna take 2 months to get it out, but that's all right.
And
No,
just to address,
accelerate it.
We'll have
just
this,
to address Supervisor Donner having the attendance, they're there on Saturday and Sunday. You've got a lot of people voting also during the week, potentially. People that are already on the lake with their boats, that are not even coming to the boat launch.
That's why I say a big sign right where they're launching, or,
No,
you
she's
know.
talking about residents.
Oh, that's, okay.
They're already
Which
on
they
the
should
lake.
know already now.
Yeah.
all right, well,
Let's put some responsibility on that. Oh.
we've had a lot of discussion, we cannot tell, can't say anything about making a sign. What we can do are these two things, or nothing. We can table it, or whatever you wanna do.
I'll make a motion to authorize Chairman Jones to draft a letter, for the Potters Lake and Lake Beulah Management Districts outlining reasonable mitigation suggestions to be reviewed by the board at our June 16th special board meeting.
Second,
Okay,
Discussion.
yes.
We also mentioned the responsible voters, the Beulah responsible voters. I think they should be included. Is there any specific voting groups on Potter's Lake, Mr. Rice? No? Who else?
I think we discussed, because it is the lake districts that have the regulatory power, we're not including the special interest group.
Patsy the chair.
And I think the other thing is, this is just authorizing drafting the letter, so when we approve the letter, we can then approve who we're sending it to,
You could.
at the 16th.
You
Yes,
could.
you could.
The other thing though is by ordinance, our lake districts are supposed to be on the town website by ordinance. That was part of that update with the,
A link to their website.
link to, that's how we were gonna communicate, slow no wakes, if it's too high water, whatever, instead of trying to get information in here, it gets posted on the Lake District site, usually in a big banner on the front, and it would be immediately available. So if, the other thing I know we do at Powder Lake, I'm assuming you do the same thing, we get something like that, that is, important for all riparian owners to know about, we would distribute it or put it on the website, and I assume you would do the
Just
same.
email to everyone.
Yeah, email, did email. So, we can discuss it at June 16th, I think, but I understand, I'm not trying to exclude fuel responsible voters or PLD, I'm not trying to exclude them, I'm just trying to be specific on the governing bodies that are supposed to take the action. Okay, so is that all you had?
Yes.
Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
I,
Opposed? Okay, I'm writing a letter by next Monday. D. We should not table this to next meeting, so we don't have to put it on here again and I get a bunch of comments. So we should table it until such time that, maybe said how we could do it, table it until such time or table it indefinitely at this point, how would we
You
do?
could do that.
Do we have to put a timeline around?
why don't you
No.
just say until further notice?
Yeah.
It's
this-
tabled,
I make a motion that we table,
noticed on a future agenda.
Right, table until notice. So why don't I make a motion to table this, item to create a new Lake Shore Conservation Advisory Committee to address the wake enhanced voting topic on the lakes until until further notice.
second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Table.
Forever.
All right, we're up to E. I'm going to give you a quick update on proposals.
Before we leave, can I say thank you to all your work on this?
Okay. I have, this is 9E, RFP assessment. Got summaries. I had one decline. Sorry. Okay, we had, one decline come in from MSA Professional Services. They declined on May 30th. Public Administrative Associates responded on Sunday, 9/8. I received it, and Innovative Public Advisors, after I pinged them, Sunday, 6/8, sorry. Public Advisors and Innovative Public Advisors responded on 9/9 this morning. 6/9, why am I saying that? Not like there's a lot of things going on. So I did not open them, I left them be. I was gonna propose I would just send them, how should we handle, email bids like that?
Oh, they were emailed.
They're email bids.
I would think those would have to be shared somehow with the board for the board to vote on.
Can I blind copy, or do I need to have?
Or we're not gonna be able to do nothing tonight, right?
No, we're not doing it tonight, I just wanna know how we wanna handle it, so I know what action to take.
I'd say print them off and vote on it at your special meeting or at the next board meeting.
Okay.
They have to see them somehow.
No, they do, I just wanted to send them to them.
Can you email them to me and I will disperse?
Yes, that's what I'm thinking. Okay, so that's what we'll do. I don't think we need a motion to do that.
No.
We sent it to 3 and got it.
We got that. They said they didn't have the staff, the appropriate staff to achieve our time limit. And that's why they declined. All right, the next one is the resolution to approve town appointments, board appointments, for the planning commission. Before,
Read it. We usually read resolutions out loud.
right, I have some comments before I get to the resolution. My goal